This family has stayed in the light. That has been our guiding force.
Emotional words from the wife of Jay Boughton after a jury delivered a guilty verdict, finding Jamal Smith guilty of shooting and killing her husband on Highway 169 last July. After that guilty verdict Thursday, Boughton's family spoke with reporters. CCX News reporter Sarah Tamer was there and filed this story.
Jay Boughton was driving home from a baseball game with his son Harrison on Highway 169 in Plymouth last year,
when Evil pulled up alongside and shot and killed Jay with Harrison next to him.
When a road rage incident between him and driver Jamal Smith turned deadly. Boughton was killed by a single shot. Boughton's family addressed journalists after a guilty verdict Thursday.
The jury found Evil guilty on all 3 counts.
Smith found guilty on all 3 counts, receiving an automatic life sentence. Earlier, he testified it was the backseat passenger who fired the fatal shot. 2 others were in the car with him.
We know who did this to Jay, and that person was held accountable today.
For the Robinson-Boughton family, this verdict may not mean justice, but having truth come to light.
I have 2 beautiful children with Jay. And if I didn't stay in the light, I'd go to anger, right?
Has been their mission this past year.
We don't get Jay back. Kristen will wake up tomorrow morning without Jay.
It's impossible to prepare or predict what life will look like after loss. For Kristen and her family,
we miss Jay so much.
Healing is endless, but they're choosing to heal in the light.
The light keeps us from becoming angry. So stay in the light.
In Minneapolis, Sarah Tamer, CCX News.
The 2 others who were in the car with Smith last year have not been charged in this case. Police were unable to locate them for the trial. Also closely watching the trial's outcome were Plymouth police officers who poured hours of manpower and determination into the investigation. Reporter Sonia Goins sat down with Plymouth Police to talk about what the trial's outcome meant to them.
This was one of the most tragic events that I have witnessed in my 20 years in policing.
A very emotional police chief talked about the death of Jay Boughton the day after he was shot. And although it's been a year, Police Chief Eric Fadden says it hasn't been easy.
It's been a long, emotional road, I know, for the family, for the communities of Plymouth and Crystal, where the Boughton family lived.
Chief Fadden says that there were a lot of sleepless nights for police investigating the incident, but the challenging time brought the department closer.
It's been very stressful, though, especially the beginning stage of the investigation, where we spoke with the media a lot and we asked for the public's help because we did not have a lot to go on.
The Plymouth Police Department was determined to find justice for the Boughton family. Investigators worked around the clock to solve this case.
It wasn't just our few detectives, our patrol officers, our command staff, our communication staff within the city of Plymouth. We all spent countless hours just working through every little nuance of this investigation.
The chief says Plymouth Police breathed a sigh of relief after the verdict Thursday, but they say this isn't a time to celebrate.
No one wins from this. We all had a job to do. Our staff and everybody that was involved in this, they did their job phenomenally well.
Meanwhile, gratitude from a family who's still grieving the loss of their loved one.
I never wavered from the Plymouth Police finding him. I always knew in my heart they would.
A big shout out and call out to the Plymouth Police Department, who had just about everybody in that department working so hard on this case. All the overtime, all the hours, all the weekends, they came to our house.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
A man is in custody following a standoff in Brooklyn Park Thursday afternoon that involved a shootout with police. Officers responded to a home in the 8200 block of Douglas Lane at around 3:40 Thursday afternoon after receiving reports of an unwanted man inside a home. When police arrived, they found the man was armed and breaking the home's windows. A standoff ensued after the man refused to surrender. During the standoff, police say the suspect and a Brooklyn Park officer exchanged gunfire. At some point during the incident, police say a neighbor reported that the man started shooting at her as she left her home. Crisis negotiators from Brooklyn Park and several other agencies contained the man inside the home and negotiated his surrender. No one was hurt during the incident, and the suspect is now in the Brooklyn Park jail. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has taken over the investigation. West Metro Fire says as many as a fifth of all of the fires they've responded to this year were started by cigarettes. It's enough of a concern that the department wants to get the word out to the public about the danger.
At the center of a cigarette, it burns at over 1,000 degrees, and it can smolder up to 8 hours. So if you do not dispose of a cigarette properly, you potentially will have a fire.
West Metro Deputy Fire Marshal Shelby Wolf says a fire that happened at this New Hope apartment complex this past weekend is likely to have started with a cigarette. It started on a deck and spread to another level. 4 residents were displaced, but no one was hurt. Wolf says do not smoke on a deck or beside a home.
So the main things that everyone wants to do if you're smoking, smoke away from a building. Make sure you have a metal container with water, with a lid, with sand, and before make sure that it's out, put a lid on it if you have to.
Wolf also warns that ingredients in potting soil can act as a fire accelerant, so disposing of cigarette butts there are not a good idea. And to counteract the summer heat, how about we show you something cool? This is the winning photo in Golden Valley's 2022 Views of the Valley photo contest. It's called Winter is Beautiful, Even When It's Long, and it's a photo of a frozen crystallized bubble in the snow, taken by Susan Ramlett. Here's a look at some of the other winners in this year's contest, and you can see all of the images on Golden Valley's Instagram.
It's playoff time for American Legion baseball teams in the area. Maple Grove looked to make it 2 straight wins in the Sub-State 11 tournament Friday afternoon. Maple Grove and Anoka square off in winners bracket play in Sub-State 11 Legion baseball. Maple Grove's Tanner Albeck slaps a hit to right field that brings Brian O'Dwyer home, and it's 1-0 Maple Grove in the third. We jump ahead to the 7th, tied at 2. Anoka's Hayden Torgerson with a base hit past a 5-man infield scores Jacob Deutschman, who tripled, and Anoka leads 3-2. Bottom of the 7th, and O'Dwyer with a squeeze bunt to score the tying run, but they're unable to get another, and we go to extra innings tied at 3-3. In the bottom of the 8th, Chayton Fisher drills it to the gap in right center. A good relay, but Aiden McMahon eludes the tag to score the winning run in a 4-3 thriller for Maple Grove. In Sub-State 4, Hopkins has been dominant so far. They scored another big win Thursday evening. Hopkins set to face Chaska in the winners bracket in the Sub-State 4 American Legion baseball tournament. Hopkins breaks out the bats early. Elijah Stewart drives it deep over the right fielder's head. Americo Scolati scores on Stewart's double for a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Next batter, Aaron Ani tags one in the other direction, short-hopping the wall and left. Stewart scores as the Flyers go up 5-0 after a big first inning. In the third, Jack Mauser starts an even bigger inning with a gapper to right center. Paul Safransky scores. It's the beginning of a 7-run frame as the Flyers blow it open to lead 12-0. Peter Johnson, who homered in the third, settles for a long 2-run triple to right center in the fourth. Hopkins dominates again for a 16-2 win in 5 innings to ensure a spot in Saturday's finals. National Football League training camps will be opening up across the country in the coming days. John Jacobson has the story of a local man whose high school team was winless in his senior year, now trying to make it to the big time.
Nothing good in life comes easy, right? Ben Beise is certainly putting in the work to try to make his football dreams come true. The West Lutheran High School graduate and Greenfield native is coming off an All-American season at Division III Wisconsin River Falls. Bise played primarily tight end for the Falcons and was signed this spring as an undrafted free agent by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He attended Bucs minicamp in June.
Yeah, it was a big learning experience for me. Just with being a professional athlete, there's a lot of detail and attention to detail. So that was the biggest learning thing for me. And so just taking what I've learned from minicamp and OTAs and putting it into play here so that I'm ready to go.
Ben admits he didn't have much thought of the NFL heading into his senior year of college. But a good 2021 season for both himself and his team and a great pro day in March led him to this point. He's trained regularly at Game Face in Eden Prairie, the old Vikings Winter Park facility.
It's helped me a ton, just with body control, speed, and agility, and understanding the game, and then understanding my body, how to move it quickly and be under control. Building on my route running skills and my hands has really helped me be more versatile in the game.
Tampa Bay is coming off a 13-4 season and just 2 years removed from a Super Bowl title. And yes, he's met Bucs quarterback Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's obviously a pretty big presence when he's around, but he's just a regular guy, and we're all there for the same goal. So I'm excited to work with him and really work with the best.
Training camp for the Buccaneers starts July 27. Ben Beise is just hoping to get a chance to show his stuff. In Eden Prairie, John Jacobson, CCX Sport. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.